Hello there, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to a sad episode of haQ. In this one, I'm gonna be talking about my broken iPad Pro and the fact that it might not even be worth trying to fix it. The reason why I'm making this video is because I want to make people who want to save money aware of what they might be getting themselves into if they buy a used iPad with no real warranty or anything like that. So, 2 years ago, I decided I needed a new iPad to stay ahead of the curve due to the content I make for this channel. So I needed the most powerful iPad I could get for the least amount of money since I didn't have much and couldn't buy a new one, and I needed to double my storage space. Not an easy thing to do when you don't have much money on your hands. So there was three options: either wait for a sale or maybe buy a refurbished one, or I could stalk an auction site and buy a second-hand one, hoping that someone would put up a good deal. Now, I did the latter. I stalked an auction site that is kind of like Swedish eBay called Tradera for months. And one day this popped up. It was a no-brainer. I instantly purchased it after doing my due diligence, checking out that this account really was a real account. And just a week later, I had this iPad in my hands. Now, this was back when I was still streaming on my second channel, which is not something I'm gonna pick up anytime soon. But we did this whole stream and there were so many people there and you made it all very special and I was very happy, and little did I know that I was gonna have an accident just a few months later that actually creates a huge problem for me today. Such a huge problem that the best solution might actually be for me to just try to find a new iPad again. Well, I was sitting on my balcony enjoying the outside air while editing some audio for a video, and I bent over to do something, and then suddenly I managed to get the iPad to slide out of the cover and it fell down to the concrete floor. Now, the way that it's able to slide out of the cover is because of how it attaches to the iPad. These new covers attaches to the back with magnets, and this is not as strong as the old covers because the old covers, they had this magnetic bar sitting under the iPad holding on to it. And I had instances where I dropped the iPad but held on to the cover itself and the iPad was just hanging from it, still attached to it because the magnet was so strong. That's not the case with these covers. They actually slide out really nicely. And yeah, that's a problem. Here's my first recommendation. Don't use these covers. Get something that actually holds on to the iPad. So when it comes to the drop, now we're not talking about a high drop here, a very small drop, but because of the shape of the frame of these new iPads, well, all of the kinetic energy just goes straight into the unit. So the iPad got nicked down here, which you can see. This damage doesn't look that bad, but it warped the chassis, and so we had this happening on the other upper side. Now, I was lucky because the damage didn't actually touch the screen area. It only broke the glass in a very specific way, but I was still worried, so I started looking into what it would cost to actually replace the screen. And since I didn't have any Apple Care and no warranty because it was used, it was already old when I bought it, well, I basically had to go to a third-party store that do these repairs, and they told me that it would cost about $600 to replace it, or even more. Well, I was pretty screwed because I simply didn't have that money. And so I decided to live with it. And if I was more lucky, it would keep breaking, but it wouldn't break into the screen area and interfere with the screen. Well, I kept using it for 2 years, and so this is what the damage looks like today. Some copper is exposed. We can see internally into the actual unit. This is not good, but I was lucky. It didn't interfere with the operations of the screen. The screen still works. However, this now creates a problem because I really need to remove the screen to fix something else, and it is the USB-C port. And I wish it was a case of lint in there, which it's not, or dirty connectors, which it is not, or broken cables, which it is not. It is just simply broken. It will not connect to anything USB, and it won't even connect so it can charge. And you can see where this is going. If I start removing this screen here, I will 100% break it even more. And it might break in a way where the glass breaks into the screen and destroys it. And even if it doesn't, even if just more of the edges disappear when I remove it, I'm still gonna need a new screen. But will that work? Because think about it. The way that the iPad broke in the first place was by being hit in one side and then having the glass break in another, meaning the chassis is warped. So if I buy a new screen for $400 or $500 and put it in, it might just crack as soon as I pop it in there. I don't want to risk that. I'm at a catch-22, it feels like. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, why not hack it up with some wireless stuff like wireless speakers, wireless headphones, wireless MIDI controller? Yeah, sure. I use wireless MIDI controllers all the time and they're good, almost no lag. However, headphones, speakers, that lag, no fun, but yeah, it could be doable. But a wireless sound interface? Don't get me started on why that would be a problem. So sure, you could hack it up wirelessly, but in the end, it won't make a difference because the iPad will turn into a brick as soon as I lose the remaining power in there because I can't recharge it. The port is broken. So what I've done right now is I've made sure to make a backup on my iCloud of everything. And I've also made backups on external drive. And I have about 70% battery left in this unit. And that's it. And I want to keep some charge in there until I'm able to find a new iPad. And how am I going to do that? Back to Tradera it is, and wish me good luck in my hunt trying to find a new good deal. And this time I'm trying to get an M1 or something. Don't use Apple's covers. Get something where you actually have to put the iPad into it somehow so it kind of hugs the iPad and protects the edges and everything if you accidentally drop it, because that's important. Protecting all the sides of the iPad because of how it's shaped now and how easy it is to damage it. If you've had any similar experiences, why don't you tell us down below? Because anyone who is considering buying a used iPad or iPhone right now will be helped by hearing our stories about this and what they need to consider. Thank you so much for watching, and before you leave, give me a thumbs up. And as usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. Now, I had to edit this entire video on my older 12.9-inch iPad Pro from 2015. It's very, very slow and annoying. Work is taking much longer than usual, so videos are gonna come out at a slower pace also.